You're not supposed to say you have breasts. So we are leaders and forward-moving women. I urge and I plead that on this day, on International Women's Day, our breasts are nothing to be ashamed of. Our cervix, nothing to be ashamed of. That if we are able to find a space to actually talk about breast cancer, we will talk about breast cancer. It's my first outing in 2 months. It's the first time I was telling Memory I'm wearing heels and applying lipstick in 2 months. But if we keep quiet as women leaders, others are suffering. It's okay, you will touch your breast, you feel a lump. The doctor says it's not a diagnosis. A lump does not necessarily translate to cancer, can be anything. But if you feel a lump, run, get it checked. Just get it checked. But
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sweet Reality Kenya TV. And in Sweet Reality Kenya TV, today we host Mildred Ngesa. Mildred Ngesa is a cancer warrior, a cancer champion, and a cancer survivor, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Mildred. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, straight away, maybe, Millie, we would go to being the warrior.
Being the warrior.
The journey, how did it start?
You know, before introducing myself as a cancer survivor, cancer champion, cancer warrior, I am Mildred Ngesa. People know me as a journalist, as a women's rights activist, and a transformational leadership coach. And you see, these are terminologies we define ourselves in terms of the work we do on a daily basis. So now you find yourself with battle. You find yourself battling an enemy and realize that that enemy almost becomes your identity, and it should not be so. But you also cannot distance yourself from it when you're at battle.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, so I thank you for hosting me, and I appreciate that I'm getting all this support as I journey within the battle that is cancer. I am on my third month since diagnosis, and almost my second month after my first stage of treatment, which was surgery, and now looking forward into getting into the other forms and phases of treatment, which include chemotherapy and radiotherapy. I am battling what I never anticipated would ever be in 2021, after what we saw in 2022, after the corona year of 2022, and we're planning and gearing up for 2021 to try and make things better. But here I am. I love to say beforehand that I am a mother, single mother of 2 girls, beautiful girls, 14 and 7. And this is important to me, because when you're a fighter, when you're a warrior, and you're a mother, which are different dimensions of meaning into it. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, that therefore means that what you're going through now puts you on the other side of journalism.
On the other side of so you see, journalists hate being in front of the camera. Real journalists love being behind the camera. And I've been a journalist for such a long time. I actually call myself a recovering journalist, because a recovering journalist keeps on, relapsing back into journalism. It never goes away. I haven't practiced actual journalism for the last, I think around 10 years, but I am a communications and media expert, media trainer and media facilitator. So I'm still right within journalism. My most immediate assignment just before this was working with the African Women's Development and Communications Network, which is FEMNET, an organization that serves African women organizations across 47 African countries. And I worked there for 4 years as the head of communications. So I was still working with media and communications even then. Journalism doesn't go away, it stays with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe just briefly, which media houses have you worked for in Kenya? Maybe?
I think I've worked in most media houses. Journalist, I've worked I started off with the now defunct Kenya Times, which many of the younger generation wouldn't remember, but it was such a critical platform for media in our country, in our transformation for democracy and governance in our country. I've worked for the Standard newspaper that I worked for a long time, about 8-9 years, and I've worked for the Nation Media Group, where I worked for about 3 years. I've also worked outside with the Deutsche Welle radio station. I worked in Bonn, in Germany, for about a year. I'm also a media founder of my own media-based organization, Peacepen Communications, that came into being after the post-election violence of 2007-2008. It's a media-based platform, media agency, if you may like, that actually infuses media intervention into transformation on issues of conflict, building resilience, and peace building.
Okay.
So Peacepen Communications is ongoing, is an organization that brings in quite a wide array of media and communications related aspects, training, facilitations, capacity building, interventions, quite a bit that touch most importantly on media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Mildred, the truth of the matter is we are in this now.
Yeah.
When did this start?
Well, I started my diagnosis process in December with and this is what I'm trying to pick up, especially with women, that they need to really go and do their checkups. They need to do their examinations, that if there's an itch or there is a lump, you need to check it out. And most of the time, as my doctor tells me, Dr. Edwin Otieno tells me, a lump doesn't necessarily mean breast cancer, so women shouldn't fear. Go check, it can be anything, because there are many breast diseases. So for me, in December, was a lump, was an itch, was a, there's a pain, then there was misdiagnosis in one of the hospitals where they started treating me of mastitis, which was quite bizarre, because mastitis normally affects women who are breastfeeding. My last one is 7 years, so I haven't breastfed for like 4 years, so it was bizarre. And
you didn't understand how it
we didn't understand, but you see, now you go to the doctor, all you want is for the pain to go away, so they give you antibiotics. What I think is the lesson for me from this point is that we have to keep asking. Even when you go to the doctor, you keep asking, you keep questioning when things are not adding up. I mean, mastitis, I'm not breastfeeding. So I went again for my test, because then there was a lump under my...
And at that point, you didn't immediately seek a second opinion?
I actually went ahead for a second opinion after about 2 weeks. And that is when now I went to a breast specialist who said, now we have to start from the beginning and do all the tests that are necessary. And what are the tests? You have to start doing your mammogram, so the mammogram scans out and checks out whether there's an issue. Yes, so the mammogram came out and found that there are issues on the armpit and the breast, and then you have to go for a biopsy that now goes in to get samples from what the mammogram had brought out, so that then they can test it, and so that too was done. And it is after this test of the biopsy that you are actually able to tell whether this is cancerous or not. So mine became out positive. And right after that, then you have a series of tests that need to scan to check extent, spread, and everything. There's quite a bit of back and forth with the doctors. That's very important. And then for me, my first port of treatment began with surgery, which I did on February 15th, and now awaiting the second.
That is after it had already been diagnosed?
Yes, because now they can't go in, they haven't diagnosed. They diagnose, they map, they see where, they understand exactly which areas are we looking at. One of the things I'm appreciating as I go on with this journey, when you read about cancer treatment in Kenya, or you see the reportage about it, you're never quite sure about the expertise that we actually have available. And I am learning that we do have expertise available. The question is, how accessible is it to most Kenyans? How affordable is it to most Kenyans? How much information do Kenyans know about where to go for a mammogram, where to go for a biopsy? What the options are there? Often we look at them, and many of these tests are done in big hospitals, where the ordinary Kenyan, of course, cannot even comprehend managing. But there are other hospitals, as I have been discovering, that can actually come in and people can be served and they can help. But still, these processes are still very expensive. They're still so damn expensive that by the time you're done with your treatment, or you're getting into the first aspect of treatment, you have used about 30, 40, 50,000 shillings for tests alone. The other day I was speaking to another survivor of cancer who just blew my mind away with what she has gone through, because she had a whole year of doing tests because they could not quite put their finger to exactly what it is that was ailing her. And she told me by the end of the year I had spent over 2 million shillings in just doing tests. Now that's a staggering amount.
Yeah,
how many Kenyans can afford that? So I think every day I'm just getting heartbroken by the gap that we have within our healthcare system to actually access it and being able to access it. It's heartbreaking. Yeah.
So out of all these processes you are talking about, it's a huge amount of money.
It's a huge.
How much is needed for the whole process?
Cancer is expensive. For us, we are projecting about around 2.7 million by the time we are done with the entire treatment process. Now, this is with give or take, if in case we need to do other special tests on the side or pursue other tests that might arise, especially now, and because it's still not yet clear exactly the path that we are taking, although we are working on it. So the projection that we've been given by the doctors as we look ahead is around that much, around 2.7. I'm hopeful that we will get there. So far I've seen quite a bit of goodwill from people who come in to support. It has really, really humbled me that there are people who really come in to support. People both I know who are friends, colleagues, family, and others who I really don't know, and that has really been very encouraging for me.
Okay, so in short, you're doing some fundraisers?
We are trying to do some fundraisers here and there. We have groups trying to mobilize for fundraising. What I'm blessed with is the fact that I have friends who have decided they will carry me on this one. And most of they formed a team. They are pursuing different avenues. They told me, all we want is for you to focus on getting well. We will try our best to just see what we can raise. And so far, I thank God. I know we are not yet there to the mark of what our target is, but I am hopeful. I'm hopeful. I know we will get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far you have some collection points, maybe M-Pesa number or no?
Yes, and we will provide to you. There's an Mchanga collection point. Okay. There are, I think, 1 or 2 groups that are collecting, but what we are presenting out is an Mchanga number that has a pay bill number, and then people can collect. I have been quite blessed and privileged to have friends and families who are supporting in trying to raise funds for my treatment. Like I say, the Mchanga pay bill number is ongoing, and we are really hopeful that more people will heed our call and support. But I also need to point out that there are many other cancers.
So you would allow me to ask those who are viewing right now also to see the Mchanga number?
Yes, please.
So we can put it here, right?
Yes. There's Mchanga number scrolling down your screen. If you can support, we really appreciate. What also breaks my heart is that there are so many cancer sufferers who have no avenue to even raise funds. Situations are dire. Sometimes you just have to spend a moment at the Kenyatta National Hospital Cancer Ward to see just how desperate the situation is. So I feel very blessed, very privileged, and I am grateful. I want to also say that the lesson that I'm learning about this disease and dealing with it is the lesson of point number 1, you trust and believe in God. Many times we who know there's a God, you are tested, but you don't know to what extent. But even if you're tested, you still believe in the God. So your faith really comes to play in that. There's so many dimensions to this disease that if you do not have a reference point to hold on to, you will sink. And for me, that reference point is God. Secondly, I want to talk about hope. That every morning you wake up and you realize, I'm already awake, so I'm still here. So what does that mean? It means that you keep fighting, that you keep going. I am determined, I'm fighting. I have my girls, my daughters are really encouraging me to do that. But also I'm looking around and seeing all the support that I'm getting, and I really have no choice but to keep fighting on. And mostly also because somehow I feel it deep inside that God is telling me this journey, there's something bigger than just the disease. So I'm sitting here saying I'm waiting on you, Lord, so that I see exactly where it is you sent me. I want to appreciate those who will help, and I know because they will help, and those who have helped already, that I know I might not be able to say thank you individually to everybody, but in my prayers I do to each and every hand that gives, and even each and every mouth that wishes me well or says I'm praying. I want to just thank them and plead that we keep praying for the sick in this country, not only for cancer. Look at the time now, it's COVID, it's pandemic time. The situations are just so desperate.
Yeah.
And unless we hold ourselves like that, then we are unable to manage. Yeah.
Talking of COVID and the situation now,
Yeah.
and what you are going through,
Yeah.
what are the experiences? And I'm sure right now you don't go to work.
No, I don't go to work, and this is a very scary period, especially for people who are terminally ill, like myself, because our immunity is compromised in one way or the other. Even our doctors are not even sure about how to manage our treatment vis-a-vis COVID, but we still pursue. So you stay in faith, you take care of yourself and stay positive. It's hard to stay positive when you're looking around and everybody is getting sick and getting infected and dying of these things, so you get a bit discouraged. But you have to keep going on.
Okay.
I've just said, hope drives you, so you just keep going on.
Okay.
Keep going.
So other than for this interview, you always have your mask on?
All the time, even in the house, my mask is right here. I just love the fresh air. Sometimes you put on the mask for so long, you just want to breathe a bit. Yeah, but all the time. Yeah.
What would you tell those who are also going through the same? Because now you have gone through it, and there's something at least that you know that you could advise on how to go about it.
I realize
so that they could also come out as warriors.
None of us can be an expert on this disease, but what I say is that we keep going, we keep fighting. I am surrounded by survivors who give me, one of my very closest friends, Marceline, told me, Mildred, keep driving through the storm. It's a storm, keep driving, don't stop. And for me, those words just keep me grounded, because she told me keep driving. The storm gets worse. It's fine, but later on we'll get to the light. She says keep driving. Another of my survivor warrior friends, my brother Felix, all the way in the US, keeps telling me the beast must fall, and that actually became my hashtag mantra, hashtag the beast must fall. Because as a cancer survivor 2 or 3 years ago, he fought, he battled, and we watched him battle, and he kept saying the beast must fall. So it gives me a lot of hope that there are people who walk the journey and they are walking with you and they're telling you, you know what, we can do this, let's do this.
Are you saying now he's devoid of cancer?
We can never quite be sure, because anybody's status, you can't never ever know whether they are fully through with it, but we pray and hope always.
But we are saying that at some point it cures fully.
I wish I could answer that, because I can't medically. Even a medical profession can't even tell you whether you get fully, because many cancer sufferers or survivors are on a remission from cancer, meaning that at that time they have checked and they have maybe done the scans and the cells are not multiplying, but nobody knows about tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's never a full confirmation.
Yeah.
But what we hope and pray is that every day is better. Cancer sufferers fight for longevity. They fight for hope. They fight for not getting sick to the point that they are grounded. They just fight for longevity, like anybody else, like yourself, like anybody else. And I think that's really important that you have that clarity even as you battle. Yeah.
It's very fine.
Yeah.
So from here we find that the beast must
fall.
The beast must fall.
The beast must fall.
I think that is the clarion call.
It is. That's my clarion call. I got it from my brother Felix Mas, giving a shout out to him, who's really amazing, and I look up to him because he's such an amazing survivor. The beast must fall.
Yeah.
And from my sister Marceline, drive through the storm, and I'm still driving. So I just keep driving through the storm. Whether it's going with this, you just drive through the storm.
Maybe as we finish, you could mention those who are driving you through the process.
Oh, quite a number of people. Let me tell you, Isaiah, you are driving me through the process because you're here telling my story, because so that we can have space to have support. So thank you so much, you and Sweet Reality TV. I have a team of 4 people, Andrew, David, Saida, and Kathy, who've put together an amazing fundraising strategy. Within that team is another team of fundraisers, of well-wishers. I call it the team of 186. They are all in a WhatsApp group, just urging, just pushing, just praying. But within that core team, there's family. There's family who are refused to let you be silent. So they are pushing and standing with you. I really appreciate all the support that I have. I appreciate the support of my women community in the women's rights movement, in the women's field, who also have just come to embrace this process and own it as their own. And when I say that, it means in every aspect, in how your house is run, in how what you eat, in how your children are, in how you walk, and that one I really appreciate. What I have acknowledged and I see is that most people don't have that kind of support. So again, I feel very blessed and privileged that I have this kind of support. Every patient, cancer patient needs it, any patient, any sick person needs it. And so for me, that's really, really important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as your last parting shot to the viewers or to any other person who will be listening to this later on, take it on.
Nothing, absolutely nothing is greater or more powerful than what God has altered your life to be. So I think if we truly believe in that, because it needs you to believe that nothing, absolutely nothing, is more important than what God has altered your life to be. And if you do, and every morning you wake up and you're still here, then that means that God has plans, greater plans for you. So if that can keep you going, then you keep going. You keep going, you don't pause, you just keep going. That's what I'm doing. I keep going. I told some of my sisters in the media who are very close to me, I told them I keep breathing. I just keep breathing. You woke up, you're still breathing, then keep breathing. I think that should be what pushes us forward, even in the mornings when the days are bad, and there have been bad days. There are bad days and there are good days, but I keep saying both days are good because you're still here. Yeah, the bad days you can go down, be in pain, be sick, but you know you're still here. So that's still also a good thing. So you just keep going. You just keep going because there's a reason. Yeah.
Viewers, you've heard it from Mildred Ngesa, a warrior, as you've seen, and from our interview you can see a lot of hope being shed. If you are into support, then it's the M-Changa number is down there for you. You could put in any effort you can, because as we say, dire times need friends, and a friend indeed is a friend in need. I am your presenter, Otieno Isaiah, for Sweet Reality Kenya TV. Thank you so much.
Thank you.